Hello, hi, it's Miri speaking, and today I'm gonna continue with my legacy videos. Okay, this videos is more for my family later on in life after I have gone from the planet. Yes, I think in about 30 years ahead, I'm not gonna be here because I am already in my 70s. This year I'm gonna be in my 70s, so I don't think I'm gonna last more than 100. Even I know my life has been very busy and I keep busy all the time, and I know I don't look like my age, but yes, I am. Yeah, I'm not gonna be here in about 30 years, and it's so unbelievable. It's like it's you know sometimes it's very complicated to understand this. You come and you go, and has been like this for the last 150,000 years or more. About humans, I'm talking about humans. I'm not talking about animals or the sea creatures, the sea uh, life, that has been here for billions of years. All of them coming and going, coming and going. Yes. But today I'm gonna continue with my legacy videos. That one is number 11, uh, and I'm gonna talk about London. I'm gonna continue talking about London because I started already. I think two videos. Um, I think 9 and 10 was about London already. Our preparation to come to London, etc., and London itself. So yes, as I said last video, when I arrived here, I soon discovered that everything it would be very complicated and very difficult to, it will not be easy. And the dream I had in Brazil about coming here, I had a dream before I decided to immigrate it. So the dream just was one, saying to me, you're not going to be here, so prepare yourself to go. And in my dream it was very complicated, a lot of suffering, etc., and it was really like this. When I was waiting for the permanent house, because when I went to the social service, they gave me a provisional house. Yes, a house that I was gonna be in for until they got me a permanent one. So every time I was going into to the buses, yeah, to go to work, because on those days I didn't have much money, so I had to use more bus than train because train was more expensive. So I was going to work with buses. So I was going to the bus, looking outside the window and look so many houses, and I was asking God to give me one, please God, give me one house. There is so many houses here. And on those days there were a lot of houses that were not empty houses. And I was looking at them and said, God, look, this one, if you give me that one, I'll make it a paradise. And I cried a lot inside that buses because it was very hard. I had to work and take care of my 4 kids. So I was going to work. I was dropping them in school at 8:30 and then take the train, go to work for 5 6 hours for the time they were in school. And then I was going back to school, pick them up, I'm coming home. Then I had to drop them out again to, in those days they had some after school activities. So I had to drop Naina and Camila, the youngest ones, to these after schools, so they can learn a little quicker the English, etc. So I was going home again. I dropped them there for 2 hours, and then I came back home. This was I was living up there in Jedburgh Road. So I was dropping them to the after school, then pick them up 2 hours later. So between this time, I was going home and preparing dinner, prepare and washing and doing everything. And then I was going down there, pick them up about 6 o'clock, and then give them bath and 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 dinner, and then put them to bed for the next day. So it was like this for has been like this for I was like this for a long, long time, long years, for about um doing this like this for long. And sometimes when I was working uh in the international hotel in Hunger Lane. So I was working in the I was first I started working in the morning, but it was very hard because I had to be there at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock it was, so I didn't have time to drop my kids to school. So Anna had to do it for myself. But then I was already leaving this house. It was easy because I was leaving this house that I'm living now. So I was going to school, picking them. Anna was. I was going to work, yeah, by bus. I had to leave here about 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. So when I was, thanks God, on the days they had already, I had to go down there and phone, and I had to arrive at there 7:30, so prepare everything and have a breakfast and then go to work. I went to my department. So when I arrived there in the hotel, I the first thing I did was calling Anna to make sure that everything was already they were already in the way to school. And then when about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:30 or 4 o'clock, I was calling home to make sure they were indoors and everything has been done, because I arrived at about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So I had to do everything, prepare dinner, washing, and do everything, put them to bed, and then next day will be the same. So it was a very hard life, but I managed to survive. It was very hard for Anna because she was just 13 and she had to 13, 14, and by this time she was 14. She had to be responsible for her sisters and for Rocky also, because boys are not that So what I was doing every day was leaving home about 7 o'clock. Then by then I did wake up everyone to make sure they would be in time for school, and then went to the work, found them there to make sure they were in the way to school. So it has to be precise. The time has to be on the spot, otherwise I will miss. But then one day I phoned home about 4 o'clock to see if everything was okay. And then I discovered no, they were not okay. Okay. Something was not very right. So I had to give up this job, and they say, okay, I have to work from home then. So I left the hotel and decided to work for a company that a sewing company, and because they provide us of everything. The only thing I had to do it was buying a machine, a sewing machine, an industrial sewing machine. So that's what I did. I bought an industrial sewing machine and placed them in the kitchen, and I started to work from home. So my salary that was stable, it started get drop because they didn't pay the very nice money. So even I was indoors taking care of everything and making sure the kids were okay, not running in trouble, etc. Do you understand? I had this, and my ex-husband was very he was not very stable. He was very unstable about work. He was never in a job for a long time. He takes one job here, another one there. It was not some regular payment. So I had to be the one to give a regular payment. So so it was very hard. I cried a lot on those days because I didn't have money to do anything. Just the basic, just the rent, basic, completely basic. So it was so complicated. Ah, yeah, the first years was very complicated, very difficult. Until I did work in pubs, cleaning pubs and doing, um, working as a housekeeper in houses, as a cleaner, until I found someone told me about Mr. Diego Vombu. He was my boss for a long time. So I went to interview in his house. So I got the job. I started working as a cleaner in his house. He was a baron, yeah, from the royal family from Germany. So I start work for him, and I spent 5 years work for him. So when I was working for him is when I learned a lot of things. I learned how to be to face life a little more, in a proactive way. He was a very good teacher to me. He he really, because when I started work for him, he told to his secretary, a lady there, that he was not sure about me. I was too on the clouds. He told, he used like she's not she doesn't look like she knows what she wants. Do you understand? Because I was afraid of everything. I had been suffering so much during that first 5 years, that I was very, you know, shocked. I was really shocked because everything was so hard for me. And so he thought that I was too weak, but I was weak, really. I learned how to be strong, and go back to my roots, that to be meeting myself after I learned a lot with him. I learned a lot with him in his house. He had a big house. It it looks more like a museum. So I had to take care of his belongs that has 2,000 years old. Do you understand? That he had a lot of things like this in his house, and then I was the one responsible for everything like this. But I grew so much in his house that by the end I was his housekeeper. I was taking care of his belongs, his private stuff, his accounts and everything. That's how much I learned in 5 years. I really learned a lot with him. I have a lot to be grateful to that man. And he's very old. He's very old, but he was so patient with me. He never criticized me, but he always gave me, like he teach me so much, that man. I didn't know nothing about investments and things like this, and he teach me a lot about it. So yes, I have a lot to be grateful to that man. Then I stopped working for him because I decided to have my own business. Then I opened my own business, but I was not very successful because the partner that I I was working with, my partner in the job, in the investment, she was not very reliable. So the business didn't work out. But then I learned, in the process, I learned more about myself, and then I started to do some courses in therapy and aromatherapy and massages and everything. So that's when my life just changed completely, completely. So I start to traveling around and walking around, and so yes, it's when my life just turned completely. And thanks God, that's the way I found to stabilize financially. Because when I opened the business, I went into debt, a lot of debt. So I had to do AVA. So is one is a company that pays your debts, and then you start to pay them. So that's the way I found. I spent 5 years of my life doing it. So during this time where I was working, traveling around UK, and um, going to Ireland, also working, is when it's these 5 years where when I managed to pay my debts and everything. So today I am free of all this for the last many years now. 7 years ago, I managed to pay everything, finish everything. So yes, but when I managed to finish everything, I built the back, and and did a lot of things. So yes, it was very hard in the beginning. It was very hard, and plus, you know, I was you know, because we are not English people, we suffer a lot about this also. Prejudice was something that it was a lot around here, but you managed to survive also. So when they gave me this house, the house was completely just the basic, just the house itself. Didn't have nothing on the back garden, didn't have nothing on the front garden. It was just, weed and, dust and dirty. So everything that this house have got today, I did myself. The toilet, the shower room was very, very basic. And me and Camila and Naina, you managed to do it and make it very nicely. Yeah. So yeah, you managed that. All the back, everything. All the back was me and my son Rodrigo. So you managed to do everything. The kitchen also, where the dinner room is, the table for the dinner table is, it was, they had a wall in there. It was another bedroom there, so I opened it to make it a dinner room, and open space with the kitchen. So yeah, you manage a lot. So 26 years in this house. 26 years in this house. So what I'm telling you all this is because I want you to know that everything, even when it's completely difficult, when you face challenges that you think you are not going to be able to overcome, even then, even when things is like terrible, it's possible. Everything is possible if you put your mind to do it. If you put your heart on it, it's possible. Sometimes it's very hard, I know, because my life has been very hard. Nothing has been easy. Yeah, I was reading another day something that said, yes, my life has been a storm. Yeah, my life has been a storm. I never navigated in sweet and peaceful waters. My life has always been complicated, difficult from when I was very young, from the young age until now. But I face every challenge with a very high spirit. Even if I cry a lot, I cried. I really do cry a lot because I feel so impotent, So sometimes when I feel my impotence in solving situations, and when I see that I can twist or I can move forward, or the obstacle in front of me is too big, is too higher, and I have to look at up. I have to climb this mountain. Yes, Miriam, let's go. Climb the mountain. You are able and capable of doing it. So go on, let's go. So sometimes, yes, I always notice that I can cry in the evening, but in the morning I am already ready for another challenge. So that's the spirit of Miriam. So it was very hard at the beginning, very hard in England. Yeah. Uh, Rodrigo, Naina, and Camila, and Anna can remember you. We dressed our clothes. So I always bought for the first 2 3 years in England. You bought everything in second hand. I didn't have money to buy new stuff, and on those days you didn't have Primark. So yeah, things get better later. About 15 years after we moved here, so things start to get better. So I didn't have money to buy in the big shops. So everything was I bought in a second hand. So the uniforms, the first uniforms here, uh, for them to go to school, everything was second hand. The first one was second hand, and the shoes were bought in shoe shop. It was a very cheap place for buying shoes. That's where I was buying the shoes for school. So yeah, you mind you, Camila was 5 when you moved to England, and Anna was 12. So until her 14, you were still buying second hand. And then after that, no. And with 16, she was already off the house. She started to work at 16, and she was living in she was working in a pub. After she finished secondary school, she went to live with a pub that I was cleaning the pub. I was cleaning the pub, and they were English, but they were speaking Portuguese because they have lived in Algarve for a long time. So they were managers, or managers. So they have been traveling all over, and they had a pub in Algarve, and then they came back to England. And this pub that were in Victoria Station, near Victoria Station area of Victoria, central London. So I was doing the cleaning for them. So when Anna was 16, I talked to them, said if they can, Anna can start work for them, because Anna wants to work, because she wants to make money, because we are very poor. You need some. If she wants some new shoes and new clothes, she has to work to buy them. So, and then she said, yeah, she can come and work with us. And she was going every day there, every day to work in the pub after 6, because pub is normally open at 1 o'clock here, midday, 1 o'clock. So, and then after some time of working for them, they asked her to come to move to the pub, because on those days pubs had uh, rooms in the pub, so people that work in the pub can live in the pub, because pub normally close very late. So they offer her to go, and she made friendship with the daughter of the guy that had the same age. So they were the same age, so they make friendship, and then she moved out from the house when she was about 17, and she never came back home. She comes just for holiday. So, and then I was visiting her every day. I was going to see her, how she was, etc. Yeah, she moved out of house very early in days. Like me, I moved out of my parents' house also very early. always go back, but yeah, I also move out about 17. So yeah, it was very interesting time. So I separated from my ex-husband, was already 2000 and 2003, I think 2004 is when I decided, no, I don't want to live together anymore, because our marriage was not, has gone a long time. You didn't have any connection anymore. For when I moved to England, was already broken. Moving to England, I thought it would save my marriage, but they didn't, because I knew he didn't wanna commitment. He never wants commitment anyway. So didn't work. We didn't have any relationship. We were just living at the same house. So that's when I said, okay, I want to restart my life again. So um, somehow I forced him out of the house. I told him, look, if you don't go, I go. And then I went and spent about 2 months living in my boss house. It is Mr. Vombo, the German baron. So I was there for 2 months living in his house until my ex-husband was out of the house. And then when he moved out, and I moved in again. It was very hard for the girls. They had a lot of problems because of this, but it was the best. You know, you have to have courage and the strength to move out when situation is not very good. So it's another lesson that you guys have to learn. When things is not working, it's better to finish. Close the door. So if you don't close the door, other door doesn't open. And stay on top of the wall doesn't help. So make the decision. Okay, it's not for me. It's not what I wanted. So just finished. Because delaying the decision is the worst thing one can do in the life, because you waste your time, and life is very short for you to waste time in something that is not fulfilling your desires, your destiny, because every one of us has a destiny. And if you're not fulfilling your destiny, what's the point? So if you need to break something in order for you to fulfill your destiny, break it. Be courageous. Make the decision. So no, it's not working, and then finished. You know, so you can open another door. You're never gonna have a full cup with bad things. If you keep your cup full of thing that is not good for you, so you can't have the good one on top, because it's already full. So empty the cup, so you can have something better. you know yes. So that's my I cover a lot now. Until, yeah, I cover a lot in these things now. I don't think I have got much to say about life in England, because then your parents can tell you what's happened after, yeah, because that's will not be my life itself. And as if something something comes up, then it's not on my actual videos that I do normally every day, then I would say. But that's much. I think this covers everything until now. Yeah. Okay. I hope it was very telling my story to you was very inspiring. Okay. I hope my life is inspire you to continue your life and make the decisions you have to do every single day, because every day is a blessing. Okay, my kids, God bless you, keep you safe, and you also. Until next time.